Hi, welcome to What the Flick, everybody. I'm Matt Atchity. This is Christy Lemire. That's William Bibiani joining us today to talk about men, women, and children. Now, young Christy Lemire has not seen this movie, but she's going to describe it anyway.
Although I'm a woman with a child. Men, women, and children. This is about men, women, and children. Take a look. Is this movie good? Please tell me.
It's really not good.
Oh no.
This is a movie, we reviewed Space Station 76 last week, and I described that as the ice storm in space. This movie is trying to be the ice storm for the present day at a time when we have absolutely no perspective on the issues that surround us today. So what this feels like is suburban white people are miserable, and also they have the internet. And that's the only conclusion they come to, other than internet porn will make your teenager impotent.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of first world problems, the movie.
We have enough of already.
Right, exactly. This movie, I have to bring up, having gone to my 10-year-old school recently and taken one of those things where like everybody's got to come in and learn about the dangers of the internet, and it's all this stuff
really?
like, oh, there's all these dangers, and they give you no solutions and they give you no ideas. And that's kind of what this movie does. Like, here's all the cockamamie shit people do on the internet and how it messes with them and the dangers of it. And it doesn't actually show anyone being smart about it. It's like kind of all these sort of horror stories. It's not bad enough that it's like histrionic, but it's these.
It's got this Lifetime original movie quality where it's like
it feels like an after-school special.
It's like 5 after-school specials and Lifetime original movies crammed in together. And it's like, well, none of these are interesting or meaningful on their own. But if we put them all together and put really ponderous music over all of it, we might trick you into thinking this means something.
There's this
cast,
really
right?
it's great
not
cast.
a good cast. The cast is fine.
There's the other thing that sticks out like a sore thumb on this movie is there's this narration done by Emma Thompson in context of the Voyager space probe leaving the solar system,
which really makes you think.
And it's this ham-fisted way of like keeping these problems in perspective, and it's just like, and there are times where Thompson's narration is going for these wry jokes, and sometimes they work.
She's Emma Thompson. She's got good delivery.
And you kind of want that to, if the whole movie had been like that, like, look at how stupid these people are, I think that would have been kind of fun. But then it wants you to take them seriously.
Who is she? Is
She's
just a narrator?
She's embodied narrator.
Okay,
Right.
she's not like a neighbor, like a busybody neighbor next door.
No,
she's there's no reason to believe her other than that she's Emma Thompson.
Is she Siri?
No, that would have been funny.
That would have been funny. But she comes in as this omniscient narrator that's got this kind of wry, sardonic take on what's happening, which would be fine. But again, the movie wants you to take these characters seriously. Yeah. And it's emblematic of the problems with this movie in that it's juggling too much and it can't figure out how it wants you to feel. On some respect, it wants you to kind of fear what the internet can do to your relationships, but then the characters don't really act that smart to begin with. And if it wasn't the web screwing them up, it'd be something else.
I feared the internet, but then please go on Twitter and Facebook and talk about how much you like this movie afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. But no, but that's the reason why I think I bring up the Ice Storm, Space Station 76. These are the same suburban malaise problems we've seen in movies over and over. I've been calling this Bob and Google and Ted and Alice. Like it's the same. Like what I learned from this movie is that middle-class white people haven't changed in decades, and the internet is is having no effect on it whatsoever, aside from purely cosmetic reasons. There's this thing in the movie where they constantly show people, like every time you see a crowd of people, everyone's on their phones, and you see this little pop-up CGI bubble showing what they're texting. And I guess that's supposed to make us think about how the internet has infected our lives. When what it really makes me think is this is so ubiquitous, it has had no effect whatsoever. This, kids looking on their phones and not listening to their parents is the same thing as kids being on their Walkman, not listening to their parents. Kids watching TV, not listening to their parents. Kids playing video games. This is another way
Kids
of
out
film.
on the farm,
Yeah,
not listening to their parents.
exactly. This is just a shorthand for filmmakers to say children are disenfranchised, and I'm like, you've been saying that for the last 3 generations, and the kids are fine. The kids are turning out all right. The kids are all right.
It sounds to me like, you look at a movie like Her, and Her can talk about, what technology has done to us in terms of how we connect with other people or don't in a really insightful and a really smart and a really stylish way. It sounds like this has none of that
it's
kind of
disappointing
thing.
coming from Jason Reitman, because there's a couple stories in here that I think that the use of internet technology does kind of ramp things up. There's the kid on the football team who basically becomes addicted to porn to the point where he can't actually have sex with a girl because she's not doing what he sees in the porn videos. Okay, that happens.
That's a legitimate
fine,
concern,
right? Or the
but
girl
there's
that's
no-
anorexic,
Yeah.
that the way she manifests her anorexia partly is by going online and getting support in her anorexia,
Right.
like coaching on how to
From other girls.
which does happen. But
Yeah.
the
And
movie
yet these
does
are
that.
topics that we've seen over and over again. Like, you didn't need the internet to tell that story.
Well, and the movie does that in such in a way that has no impact. It's very superficial.
Yeah.
The only thing that has close to any impact is the story between the kid who's quit the football team and the girl who they're trying to connect with each other, and he has a moment where he's trying to connect with her, and her mom, played by Jennifer Garner,
She's this
basically
monstrously disapproving, I will check
Yeah.
everything on your computer every day kind of mom, because she's terrified of the internet.
Right, and
It's
she
basically
basically-
the Notebook, but it's the MacBook. Like, it's,
right, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, again, there's nothing in this movie. The only story in this movie that's kind of interesting on its own for me, that I thought, wow, you really couldn't do this without the internet, was there's a bit with Judy Greer and her daughter who wants to be an actress, and Judy Greer's put up like a kind of a modeling website, but as the story goes on, you realize, what is she modeling? She shouldn't be modeling this.
Like,
This
it's
is kind of,
creepy?
it gets
Yeah.
creepy.
And that's the one-
That's the one really interesting one.
That's the
Yeah,
one
Judy Greer's
really,
good. Yeah.
that's the kind of thing where it's
Yeah.
like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like there's somebody really taking it too far. Like all the rest of them are kind of cliches, right? Like, the catfishing and, the porn addiction and the anorexia. Like we know, I mean, not cliches, but we know all those stories.
I think that is
And
a
this
cliche, actually. I think it's fair to call that a cliche.
We've seen all those stories done in other places, but this is the one that, like you said, really uses the power of what you can do on the internet to really tell a story that I think otherwise you wouldn't be able to tell very well.
Yeah,
and
just
that's
one
the one that I
segment,
would
yeah.
want to see a full movie of.
Yeah, that could be a whole movie. That could
Because
be
that's the one that's
yeah.
the most uncomfortable. And Judy Greer really delivers a great performance. And what's his name from Breaking Bad? Hank from Breaking Bad. Anyway.
He's really good in this. He's really the actors are all
Dean
fine. Something. The actors are all really.
look it up.
I always want to say I don't blame any of the actors for this movie.
Everybody
I
at home is
blame.
like, it's Dean so-and-so, you idiots.
I blame a screenplay that insists that it's important without actually having anything meaningful to say. And what's worse is that, Jason Reitman used to be funny. Like, he used to have a wit, even like Up in the Air, which was really dry. It was funny. You enjoyed watching it. This has no humor to it whatsoever. The only thing that made me laugh was when Dennis Haysbert comes in and he's playing the same character from Think Like a Man 2. Like, that was when I was just like, ha ha! But it's not intentional. It's a really turgid, depressing, isn't it sad that things are sad? I'm like, yes, it is, Jason Reitman. Thank you for pointing that out.
Two things. Dean Norris, by the way.
Dean Norris, he's great.
Also, is this better or worse than Labor Day?
I actually didn't see Labor Day.
Better.
Okay.
I would say it's better than Young Adult, which
Young
I know
Adult.
some people liked. I despise despise it. I think it's one of the most misogynistic movies I've ever seen.
Okay.
Also, Adam Sandler miscast in this.
Oh, Adam Sandler's in
Adam
it?
Sandler is in this as this sort of depressed, not feeling the sex with my wife, isn't it? And obviously they're playing against type. Here's this really lovable, likable, funny guy, and now he's sad.
Sounds
And
like Spanglish.
it does sound like Spanglish. He's fine. He doesn't hurt this movie in any way. It might be distracting for a little bit. Because you expect him to be funnier, but I see no problem with it. I've seen way worse Adam Sandler movies, so yeah.
As have we
As in
all.
all of
As
them.
have we all.
Okay, so what are your numbers then? They're probably pretty low.
I give it a 2.2.
Okay.
It's just bad. I don't care how much talent went into it. The end result was really just pointless. I had felt nothing.
I didn't hate it as much, but I didn't think it's very good. I give it a 4.
All right, so 42% is their average. No,
3.1.
3.1. 42%.
42% on the tomato meter.
Yeah, it came out yesterday.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes, another evil thing on the web, just so that we're all
Oh,
clear.
do they actually call you out by name
No.
as an evil thing? You're dumbing down film criticism. Duh.
Oh, that's my whole point. That's,
All right.
that's my whole job.
We do that here every day. Bye.